Hello, everyone out there. It's always my pleasure to welcome you to Cross-Cultural Experiences, where I have a guest who would have moved away or traveled, outside his or her own cultural environment, goes to another place, experiences something that might just be called unusual, and it may be exciting, it may not be exciting. But the most important thing for us is, what did you learn from that? So that way we can spread cultural awareness and togetherness all over the world. And today I have the big, exciting pleasure to welcome DEBA to this forum. How you doing, my brother?
Thank you very much. It's
Okay.
a pleasure
I
to be part of this program.
Thank you, thank you. The way you are dressed, are you running for office?
Well, this is how I always dress,
Oh,
especially on Sundays when I know that I will interact with people here in
people
this
and all
environment.
that. Okay.
They always like me when I put on my Nigerian clothes.
All right. Okay, just briefly introduce yourself
Yeah.
to our listeners, our
Okay,
people who watch. Sorry.
thank you very much. My name is DEBA UWADIAE. I'm based here in Columbus, Ohio. I'm also a publisher of the New Americans magazine. I'm a journalist, and I moved from Lagos to Columbus, here in Columbus, straight from Lagos, uh, June 7, 2011. So I have lived all my life in America, here in Columbus, Ohio. And so I've been practicing journalism full-time since 20, I say full-time because uh, when I came, I had other jobs, but I've been practicing journalism full-time since 2016.
Okay, can you talk just a little bit more about the magazine so that people can really know what you do?
Yeah, the magazine is called New Americans Magazine. New
Okay,
Americans Magazine is a general interest magazine. It's online daily, so we report daily. Uh, it's a general interest, like I said, but we essentially highlight, the issues, events of new Americans, immigrants, and refugees. So we try to do that because when I got to this city, I discovered that they had only one newspaper
okay.
daily, only one newspaper daily, and it's called Columbus Dispatch newspaper, and that was the only it's still the daily newspaper. So I always get a copy of that newspaper, and I realized that most times when they talk about issues about new Americans, it's always on the negative side.
Negative
Probably,
side, okay, yeah.
yeah, somebody you know was arrested for this and that. Somebody did that. Somebody the same thing.
Not that somebody won a Nobel Prize.
Exactly, or somebody started a business. There was you every day. So the same thing on television, radio.
Right.
Yeah, so that was what spurred me to start a print publication.
Okay, that's wonderful
Okay.
because to be very honest, quite a number of people oppose things from the point of ignorance. They don't know. So
Exactly.
when they get to know, then their ideas are shaped differently. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
So you're doing a good job, but let's get back to your experience for this
Thank you very
forum.
much.
Yeah, yeah. Can you share whatever experience,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Columbus has been very, I will tell you, Columbus has been very good to me,
Yeah.
my family. I would say because, I came from, uh, I will share something about, our first experience in Columbus. The first day
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I, we were living in Ikeja, Lagos.
Yeah, Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos, Nigeria. That's the capital of Lagos State.
Yes.
Ikeja. we're not just living in Ikeja, but we're living in Computer Village. If you have been to Lagos and you've been to Ikeja
Yeah.
and Computer Village is the business base
Base, yeah.
of Ikeja. And so we were living on a street where computer activities, take place in those
Yeah.
days. Between we were there for 14 years. So so Computer Village started in our present.
Okay.
People started taking shops, and doing businesses. Before you know it, the telephone came in.
Yeah.
And so if you want to buy telephone or the mobile phone, you have to come to Computer Village. If you want to service,
Yes.
mobile phone, come to Computer Village. That's where it's so a lot of businesses about computer phone came to Computer Village. And so it got to our street. We were living on Bashiro Way. And so in the morning, you have to quickly take your car to a place where you will not be blocked.
Okay.
When you do business in Lagos, apart from the stores, the streets too, you find people putting their business on the road. And so
Everywhere
everywhere
is congested.
is congested, everywhere is congested. And so during the day, it's difficult to navigate our street,
Right.
you know. So now, and so much noise, so much activities. So that is where we were
Correct.
in Lagos, for you to know. And so when we came to Columbus, that very first day, it was on a Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
The morning, I think it was June 8, 2011. And so our friend came to pick us from the bus station because we used the bus.
Right.
We actually came from Lagos through um, Turkey, and so
Yeah.
it brought us to Chicago. And so we by road we took a bus
A
from
bus.
Chicago
Okay.
to Columbus. And so when we got to Columbus, our friend came to pick us from the bus station in the morning at about 9 o'clock. So while he was driving us from the bus station, and
To
so
the city.
bus station, this station is in the downtown,
Okay.
where you have all the businesses, all the tall
Yeah.
buildings, in Columbus, So he was he was driving away from downtown. So I told him, I said, is there a public holiday? Because I didn't see people on the street. I was just see one or two people,
Yeah.
few cars driving in, on the street. He said, no, it's a regular day that people are going to work. I said, but why is the street empty?
I mean, you're coming from Lagos where it was almost
Exactly. I said,
war on
why
the
is this?
streets.
People, so I said, why is the street empty? He said, oh, that's right. He said, this is Columbus, it's not Lagos, it's not. He said, you can probably compare this place to maybe Akure, you know.
Yeah.
I said, okay. I said, wow. So it's so quiet like this, And so that was, a very big shock, for me, family at that time. That you move from Lagos, you move from Ikeja, Computer
Yes.
Village,
The hustle and bustle of
bustling and bustling
Ikeja.
of, yes, and you
And
are
there
here.
you are. Here you are. It's like everybody's still asleep at 9 o'clock.
It's like everybody is still asleep. Whereas work has started at 8, even so before
So
8.
what did that tell you? What did that
So
tell you?
that told me that now I'm in a place, where I'm going to be a different person.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a
Okay.
different person. My attitude is going to change. I have to, do something differently, not like Lagos. And so
Yeah.
actually it affected, like you said, it affected my driving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when I went for my driving test,
Yeah.
you know, um, my glasses, everything is contained in my book, Immigrant on Columbus Way, coming to America. So I went for my test. So they did my eye test. My glasses didn't pass the test. You know, you look at the machine.
Yes, and they read something.
Yeah, machine, and read. I couldn't read what they were showing. And so they now told me that I need to change my glasses. You know, so which means I failed.
Yeah.
That, test.
Okay. Your glasses were used to the hustle and bustle of Lagos.
Of Lagos. Exactly. And probably I go for maybe every 5 years. It was not a big deal for me.
It was not a big deal.
Exactly. So that, I failed that one. Then when I went for after I did everything, passed, and then I now went for the, road test, what they call,
Right.
So when I was driving for the road test, at every junction, vehicles probably, you are driving on the main road,
right,
and there are junctions. Do you know, I stopped in 7 junctions.
Yeah.
But there were no sign on the ground for me to stop.
Yeah.
I stopped. My thinking was, if I don't slow down, vehicles may come out.
Okay.
From the inner road, vehicles may come out into the main road, so because that's what happens in Lagos.
In Lagos, I mean, driving in Lagos, like it's like
no rules.
Yeah.
So, so my thinking was, oh, a vehicle may come out, a vehicle may come out. Even when, when no vehicle, because I wanted to impress the official. And so he now asked me, I think the last one or 2 more, he now asked me, said, why are you stopping?
Yeah.
So why are you stopping? Why are you slowing down? I said, because vehicles may come out.
Yeah.
From those roads. He didn't say anything. So by the time we went to park, he wrote his paper and he said, you stopped in 7 places. He told me, he said, you stopped in 7 places you were not supposed to stop. And so you didn't pass, you can come for another test. So I was so embarrassed. You can imagine that you've been driving in Lagos for all the years. You now came to a place that there is law.
I mean, if they wanted you to stop, there will be a stop sign.
Exactly.
But in your Ikeja, there was no stop sign. You just move.
Just move. Anybody can just come in. So he said, you see those stop signs? He said they are there for a reason. He said no vehicle can come from that where I'm expecting. Because they will stop. There is a stop sign for all of them.
For all of them. Yeah, to obey the traffic regulations.
Exactly. He said you have the right of way because he said the only time you need to stop if there is a stop sign on the road.
Then you stop.
Or there is a traffic light that is stopping you.
But in Lagos, in Ikeja, everybody had the right of way.
Everywhere, everybody, you are driving on Ajayi-Lowo, somebody will just come out from there.
And it was a survival of the fittest.
Exactly. As the survival of the fittest, you move from one lane to the other.
Another. Okay. All right. Let's quickly go to the other experience you had, and then, then we can wrap it up.
Exactly. It's such a.
So you had to slow down. You had to slow down.
Yeah, you had to slow down.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. What's the other experience?
Yeah, the other experience was, honestly, I was moved. Where we came, like I told you, we came in June.
Yes.
And so I didn't start work, get a job.
Yeah.
Until June, April, May, June, July, August, until September.
September, okay.
Yeah, until September, because of trying to get driver's license
and all the formalities.
Okay. Yeah, because there are no we don't, the public buses here, they are few.
Yeah.
So public transportation. And so you have to own your own vehicle, for you to move about. And if you're a family man, you really need it for you, your wife,
Yeah.
your children, schools,
The
and
kids, okay. All right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As at that time, our children two of them were teenagers. The last one was 9. So, we got a job eventually September, then started. Then we were informed in January that we must file, our tax.
Yeah.
You understand?
By April.
Exactly, that you need to file your tax and all that. So, Nigeria now,
Right. I mean,
any tax,
it's
you take care of yourself,
I'm sure you would have said, file what? Tax?
Exactly,
What is that?
I know that while in Nigeria, I ran, I operated a business,
Right.
locally. When I left Vanguard newspaper, I went into,
Right.
in Lagos, aviation. I specialized in aviation publishing, but what we do then was in Lagos, you go to the tax office at Ikeja, and so they tell you this is what you pay. You just pay it. And that,
Yes.
So I was not filing tax.
Yeah.
Then with Vanguard,
But although you paid,
I
but
paid.
there was no formality of
No
file
formality. Yeah,
tax, go this,
exactly.
do that. All right.
Yes, exactly. You just go there, you pay. They give you a document.
Yeah.
That's when I was in
That's
business.
it.
They give you a document. I think the highest I ever paid there was like maybe 10,000 naira or something like that.
Right.
That's the highest. So here, working, so you have to file.
Yeah.
In Vanguard, we were not doing that.
Right.
Vanguard, everything is done. So we're not,
Yeah.
and so you have to file here, you yourself, not,
Right.
we don't do it in Nigeria. So I had to look for a tax person. We filed. I forgot everything. And when he was doing it, he said, this is what you will get.
Yes.
I was shocked. I said, get what? He said,
Yes.
it's a refund.
Yeah.
Refund? This because the amount was big,
Yeah.
because we have three
Children. Okay.
three children, 2 of them teenagers, one.
Yeah.
And so I was shocked, honestly. I said, so we are getting this money. He said, yeah. He said, government will pay, we give you this. It's a refund. He said, at least for your children, there is certain amount,
Amount for, yeah.
children, each of them, as long as they are in school. And also your job, I think you guys just started job,
Right.
they look at it, they look at what you earn, and this is what. And I said, man, this is a society. Because that money, honestly,
Yeah.
huge, not just huge. It took care of things that we never planned,
In Ikeja, you opened your wallet and gave government the money, and that was it.
That was it,
But now they are telling you that you can get something back.
Back.
I said, okay.
And it was not just small.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was not just small because as at that time, I don't know how much they were,
Right.
the
So
children.
the very concept of taxation different. It was different from what you were used to in Ikeja.
Exactly. And so that was, and I saw the importance of, paying tax.
Paying taxes, yeah.
How they appreciate you paying tax.
Right.
And so even the refund, the refund is actually for you to take care of, because there are some tax relief for your kids. And so
and all that stuff.
They give it back to you, that but if you are earning so much, you may not get it. But when we came at that time, I think in Ohio,
yeah,
that time, the minimum wage was like $8.5 per hour.
Okay, and then I'm trying to imagine 2 experiences. One, Ohio, where you were, was laid back. Lagos
Yeah.
was like, I mean, the struggle for survival.
Yes.
And then you are told to pay taxes, and then you respectfully and dutifully paid your taxes,
Yeah.
only to be told that they're giving you back some
Yeah.
money.
And there's a refund. And there's tax refund, so and so that helped me to know that there's paying tax is, important, though it was income tax as at that time.
Yeah,
Even now that that I have my business, that I run
right,
a publication, we file tax,
right, and all that stuff.
and
Okay.
everything, they go through it, and at the end of the day, they look at it, and when you don't make profit, they understand,
Yes.
everything's on record, what you get in, what you get out, and all that. And so it's
Okay.
a society that respects that. And so that's very, very important, experience that
Experience and lessons.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. All right, Deba, these are very exciting, moments in your life, how you had to adjust, from you had to apply the brakes, so to say, the speed brakes from Ikeja to, and then there's something paying taxes. So where do I pay? No, 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 you just file it. There's something called W2 and all that. By the time you
Exactly.
finished, they gave you some money. It's like,
Yes.
as we say in my place, if you give me what I don't expect, I will ask you, who do I give it to?
Exactly.
And then they told you it belongs to you.
Exactly. So it belongs to us, that was what he said. Say it's your money, you
All
know.
right. Thank you very much for coming to this forum. And I hope
My
we can
pleasure.
meet, have it again and explore other,
Exactly.
experiences. And for people who want to be part of this, I'll
Yeah.
put it formally, but this is cross-cultural
Cultural
experiences at
experience.
Gmail. Please
Yeah.
remember the S at the end at gmail.com. And when
Exactly.
you watch it, free to share with friends and everybody. So, Deva,
Exactly.
I want to thank you again for taking the time, to share your experiences. And I wish you well in the
Thank you
business
very
you're
much.
doing. Try to, educate some minds about what's going on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Uh,
it.
okay, thank you.